Okay. What would be the next step for Terrence Crawford? And would it be straight to the Earl Spence fight because you said you've lost money on the past 3 fights? Would it be that be the only hope?
No, Pacquiao. We had a deal for Pacquiao to fight in the Mideast
Mm-hmm.
last night. Fight was supposed to be last night.
Mm-hmm.
The deal was made. Money was agreed to.
Mm-hmm.
Now Terrence wanted a little bit more money, but that wasn't the problem. Manny had agreed. Everybody had agreed. And then the Minister of Health of the country said we couldn't do it with spectators.
Mm-hmm.
So they dropped out. They've called us all week. They called us today. They're ready to do this fight in the spring. Now the question is, will COVID be behind us in the spring? I believe it will. There'll be a vaccine, and I hope to do it either right before Ramadan or right after Ramadan.
Okay. Would that organically extend your contract due to unmitigated circumstances, or
No,
would
I'm
I?
not looking for an extension. We're not talking about legality.
No, the
We're
reason being
talking
because if you
about
don't get the fight,
what
if
the
you don't get
contract
Pacquiao,
says. What?
because if you don't get Pacquiao, because if you don't get Pacquiao, then what does he do? You know, because Pacquiao may want to fight in July. I don't know his Congress schedule. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, Pacquiao will be okay. If Pacquiao is not available, we'll try to do a Spence fight. You have to understand this, that with all the pay-per-view, like you have Spence fighting Garcia, they are hobbled because they can't get ESPN Plus to do the pay-per-view like DirecTV
Sure.
and In Demand because we have an exclusive with ESPN and ESPN Plus. And ESPN Plus, for example, in the Fury Wilder fight, did 35% of the pay-per-view business.
Mm-hmm.
It is the biggest, in effect, MSO now,
Gotcha.
bigger than Comcast, bigger than DirecTV. So without it, you're really swimming uphill. Now, if we are able to make, for example, a deal with Crawford and Spence, we bring ESPN Plus to the table just the way we did in Fury and Wilder, and that will enhance everybody's revenue. Now, Al knows that. I mean, it's not a childish thing. Al's a businessman.
Yeah.
So if the fight can be made, it'll be made.
Now it seems like in terms of public opinion and in terms of capital gains as it relates to Terrence Crawford, he's sort of like damaged goods. And now you have that leverage in order, say he wanted to leave, you still have that leverage because he's contractual and no one wants to pay him what you pay him. So he has to stay and be obligated to
you. And also, he's not going to make, more money that he's making unless he's an he's on pay-per-view. And without ESPN Plus, the pay-per-view is going nowhere.
Gotcha. So you're pretty much sitting in the driver's seat.
Now, I don't know about the driver's seat. It is what it is. Look,
go ahead.
Listen, Terrence Crawford is a fighter. We're a promoter.
Yes.
If Terrence Crawford could see a place where he could make more money, that's one thing. But if he can't make more money, why would he even try or even talk about cutting ties with Top Rank? Forget that we have a contract.
Gotcha.
Even if we didn't have a contract.
Do you think it infringes upon his legacy in terms of, because he doesn't get the respect of an Earl Spence, more so even like a Sean Porter, because he hasn't faced the adversaries that
after last night, everybody respects him as the best welterweight in the world and the best fighter in the world.
Sure.
And you can talk about Spence. We don't know how good Spence is, but Spence is just, I mean, if that fight is made, when that fight is made, is there any question that Crawford will be a big favorite in the fight?
Well, it depends on how Earl looks. Right now, everyone's caught up in the moment, and I try not to make emotional decisions.
Well, we know what
publicly.
Earl looks. Forget the accent.
Mhm.
The accent. We know what he looks with Porter,
Mhm.
and we knew what we saw what he looked with Mike Garcia,
Mm-hmm.
and that wasn't a Terrence. Neither was a Terrence Crawford.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Fight. Yeah.
I get that, but you also got to keep in mind Earl has a strong jab, and Bud's weakness last night was a jab. You understand?
Who?
I said you understand. Earl has a great jab, and Bud's weakness last night was Kell Brook's jab.
Yeah, until he turns south.
Until he turns soft.
And then when he punched with the lead hand,
mm-hmm.
you don't see it because
Gotcha.
it looks like a jab, and it's so powerful. You got to realize with Terrence, you got a ambidextrous fighter, and you can take away any opponent's jab by switching up on.
Gotcha. Now.